Hey everyone, welcome to the video. Going on my cheat sheet for today's only main slate for today on DraftKings. Before we continue though, if you could leave a like, and if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. I'd really appreciate that. Let's try to get over 1,400 soon. And if you guys could hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of my new videos, I appreciate that as well. And if you want to follow me on Twitter, I'm at ChrisPennell16. And if you'd like access to my entire MLB sheet and my Slack chat, link is in the description below for my Patreon. And if you guys are interested in the NFL, I do have a couple of NFL videos out already, my quarterback video and my running back video for week 1. And my NFL sheet is live. I think it's pretty awesome. I've been working on it all summer. I think you guys would really like it, so I'd recommend checking that out, checking out those videos after you watch this. So anyway, let's dive into today's slate. Hopefully SP2 goes better than it did tonight. Vince Velasquez gave up 7 runs, ruined some stacks. Man, that was rough. He was looking okay, and then, man, just absolutely blew up one inning, so that sucks. I apologize for all of you who played Vince Velasquez. I'm in the same boat, so trust me, it hurts me double. So, anyway, let's dive into today's slate. We got Kyle Gibson at 9,000 versus Detroit, Dakota Hudson at 8,500 versus the Rockies, and Mike Clevenger all the way up top at 11,800 versus the Royals. So, let's take a little dive into the pitching sheet. This is one of the things I have available on Patreon, and let's see why I like the guys that I like. So up top, Mike Clevenger, 11,800. What's there not to like about him today? He's 2.6. He got a 2.63 xFIP, best on the slate. 36.5% strikeout rate, best on the slate. Just 8% walk rate. We can live with it. Only a 29% fly ball rate. He's just got elite numbers all around. The Royals aren't the best team in the world versus righties. I mean, they don't strike out a ton, but it's a pretty soft matchup overall. 22% strikeout rate. 157 team ISO, 304 WOBA, and a 86 WRC plus. I mean, it's not like it's the best matchup in the entire world, but it's also not the worst. Mike Clevenger is awesome. I think he gets the win here with Glenn Sparkman pitching on the other side. So I do think he gets the easy win, and Mike Clevenger is an awesome pitcher, so I don't mind using him. I will say though, I'm probably not going to get to him in cash games because he's just really expensive, and I'd rather get some other bats in. And every time I start my video, this fan goes off, so let me turn that off really quick. Okay, I am back. Now let's talk about my favorite pitcher of the slate, Kyle Gibson at 7,900. Now he's not the best pitcher in the world, but he's got some decent numbers this season. 3.85 xFIP, 22.3% strikeout rate. Let me sort this by salary. It's kind of bothering me that's not by salary. Okay, so like I was saying, 3.85 xFIP, good strikeout rate. Gets a lot of ground balls at 51%, not a lot of fly balls at 24%. But this is really just a matchup in Vegas play. He's a huge favorite going into this game. I believe he's like a I think it's negative 300, if I'm correct. Might be a little higher than it really is, but a decent-sized favorite, and it's a good matchup versus Detroit. They suck versus righties. We all know that. You're going to see a lot of green bars for Kyle Gibson, really the darkest green bars of anybody here. 26.5% strikeout rate, 149 team ISO, 283 team WOBA, and a 73 WRC+. With Edwin Jackson on the mound on the other side, I think he gets the win here. He's only 9,000. Gives us a lot of savings off of Clevenger. Now, does he have the same kind of ceiling as Clevenger? Absolutely not, but I do think he can get us 20 points, and that's just fine for 9K on this slate. And then I like the guy right below him with Dakota Hudson. Jack Flaherty's having an excellent game right now. Now, he's obviously not as good as Jack Flaherty, but he's okay enough. 4.48 xFIP, some decent games recently. Now, 17% strikeout rate's not very good. 10% walk rate's not that good, but he's a big ground ball guy, 57%, only 20% fly ball rate. And if you look at his ground ball rate versus righties, it's absolutely insane. I believe it's best in the league. If I'm not mistaken, it's at 65%, only a 10% fly ball rate to right-handed bats. So, sorry, my Slack chat was caught my attention for a second. But yeah, anyway, it's a good matchup for Hudson versus the Rockies, who are not the same team away from Coors Field. Obviously, Jack Flaherty's having a really good game right now. I think Dakota Hudson's a fine SP2. I really wouldn't use him as your SP1, but I think he's fine for SP2 at that price. Then the last guy I have interest in. No, that's it. That's 3 pitchers. So yeah, that's my favorite 3 pitchers. I forgot I talked about Clevenger already. So yeah, anyway, that's my opinion on pitching. Let's look at the bats now. So we got James McCann up top at catcher at 4,300 versus Kobe Allard. James McCann's been very good versus lefties in his whole career and this year, so I think he makes some sense there. Robinson Chirinos at 3,600 versus Dylan Peters. Dylan Peters has not been awful, but the I should say the Astros have kind of been screwing us lately. I mean, they had a decent game last night, and right now they have 1 run, so I don't know how they're going to be doing tonight. It's really early in the night, but Chirinos has got power. He should be hitting maybe like 6th, 7th in the order. I don't mind that at all. 3,600 on a good offense, I'll take that. Travis d'Arnaud at 4,200 versus John Means. John Means has been weirdly good. If you look at his numbers this season, let's go back to the pitching sheet. John Means, 3.75 ERA, but he's backed up with a 5.51 xFIP. I've been beating this drum all year, and it just doesn't make sense to me. He keeps getting lucky. 19% strikeout rate, 6% walk rate, 48% fly ball rate. That's not good, but the hard contact rate's at 29%. He's pretty good versus lefties. 26.7% strikeout rate, 173 ISO given up, and a 255 wOBA given up. But if you look at the righties, that drops down to a 33% fly ball rate to righties, 16% K rate, 175 ISO given up. So we do want the righties versus him, and Travis d'Arnaud would qualify now. He was scratched from the lineup today, which was weird, but I'm going to assume he's back. Then at first base, I love the Indians today versus Glenn Sparkman. Glenn Sparkman sucks versus lefties, and the Indians have a ton of good lefties. Carlos Santana would qualify as that. He's 5,400. He's really expensive, but I do like this entire Indians lineup today. Jesus Aguilar at 3,600. He was a chalk monster tonight. He ended up having 14 points. Maybe he does something else in the ninth inning, but yeah, he's just way too cheap versus a righty, and like I said, we want the righties versus John Means. Jesus Aguilar's always been pretty good versus lefties. It's a bad bullpen. If they can get Means out of the game quick, that'd be even better. So I do like Aguilar. Then Jose Abreu, 4,600, just mid-price versus Kobe Allard. I don't mind that at all. It's a pretty high over-under for that game at 10.5 right now, and I think the White Sox are favorites, if I'm right. I think so. So don't mind going with Abreu. Then second base, we have Jose Altuve versus Dylan Peters. Altuve's been one of the best players in the league versus left-handed pitching this season. So he's been up. He's up there with Manny Machado, JD Martinez. So I know he's really expensive, but I'm not using him. Luis Arraez, I'm not really sure. 4,300, and he's not bad though. And it's Edwin Jackson. If you can get a bat for 4,300 versus Edwin Jackson, and he's really good. Not really good, but he's above average player. I will take that all day. He should be hitting around 4th through 6th, somewhere around there. And like I said, Edwin Jackson sucks. He's been kind of ruining our stacks lately, which is surprising, but I'm going to give the Twins advantage here. I love the Twins. You guys know that. I probably play them more than anyone else on here. So do love the Twins, lefties and righties. Edwin Jackson's actually been a little worse versus righties, but that doesn't mean he's any good versus lefties either. Jason Kipnis, 3,900. I added him on the sheet. I actually changed a lot on the sheet yesterday after the video because a lot of things changed. Verhagen actually ended up being the pitcher for Detroit, and some other stuff happened. So, but Kipnis, 3,900. Good value versus Sparkman. He's probably going to hit around 6, which I think that's decent enough below 4K, and I love the Indians' offense. So give me some Jason Kipnis. I almost say give me some Glenn Sparkman. Don't give me Glenn Sparkman. I don't want to play him tomorrow. At third base, we have Alex Bregman, 5,300, another elite righty versus Dylan Peters. Alex Bregman smashes lefties, so he makes a lot of sense. Matt Duffy, now, he's on the lineup. He's on this cheat sheet because he was leading off versus a lefty yesterday. Now, I don't know if he's going to do that again, but if he does, I think that's excellent value at 3,300. And then Reyes, where he talked about, like him. Shortstop, Frankie Lindor, 5,100. One of my favorite plays in the slate. Love the lefties versus Glenn Sparkman. Lindor's an elite player. Smashes right-handed pitching. Love the play there. Willie Adames at 3,900 versus John Means. He's better versus lefties. He was batting 5th today. Now that might go down with d'Arnaud coming back in the lineup, hopefully. But still, nonetheless, I think it's a decent value. Then Jorge Polanco, 5K versus Edwin Jackson. Polanco is better versus right-handed pitching. Edwin Jackson is not a good pitcher. Makes a lot of sense. He's just really expensive. I'd rather play Lindor, but I think they're both fine plays. If you're going to be stacking the Twins, you use Polanco. If you're stacking the Indians, you use Lindor. If you're using one for cash, I'd go Lindor. Unless Adames has like a really good spot in the order, that might be a little enticing, but obviously I don't think he has the same upside as those two. Then in the high-end outfield, we have Nelson Cruz, 5,800. Cruz is smashing righties this season, and Evan Jackson sucks versus righties this season, so it makes a lot of sense to me to like Nelson Cruz. I don't have to tell you guys that. He's an awesome play. Max Kepler, 5K, one of my favorite players. I play him almost every single night. He ended up batting leadoff because I originally thought he was going against a lefty, and Verhagen's in. So made him one of my core plays. He's doing nothing right now. Hopefully he does something later in the game. But love Kepler versus Edwin Jackson. He's probably going to be heavily owned. Now, maybe not as high owned as he was today because he's at 5K. It's harder to fit him in, but I think he's an excellent play. I'd make him a core play. And then Tommy Pham at 5K versus John Means, like the righties versus Means. In mid-range outfield, there really wasn't a lot I liked in the mid-range outfield. I'd rather get a couple or one high-end outfield and use some cheaper guys, but Had to get some mid-range guys in. So Willie Calhoun, lefty versus Nova, struggles with lefties. Yasiel Puig, just part of that Indian stack. Puig's pretty good versus righties. And Shin-Soo Choo, 4,600 versus Ivan Nova. Just, I like the lefties versus Nova. And then in the value outfield, we have Marwin Gonzalez at 4,100 versus Edwin Jackson. He should have a decent spot in the order, hopefully. And Edwin Jackson is not a very good pitcher. That Detroit bullpen isn't the best either. Then Dexter Fowler, he's hot. 4K versus Chichi Gonzalez. I like that play a lot. Then the core plays for me are Cal Gibson at 9K, Aguilar at 3,600, and then Max Kepler at 5K. Then the top stacks for me are going to be the Twins, the Indians. It's going to be a good slate when my two favorite stacks are the Twins and the Indians, because those are my two teams, for DFS purposes. In real life, I don't like the Twins. But if they make us money for DFS, I'll put that aside. Then I like the Rays, and then the White Sox should be a lower owned stack. Anyway, guys, that's all I got for the video. Remember to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of the new videos. Check out the NFL videos. I think you guys will like them. And I wish you guys the best of luck and have a great weekend.